Hello, welcome back to Cascadia Inswinger. I'm John Floresca here with my co-host Eddie Smith, and today we're talking Seattle Sounders and Vancouver Whitecaps. They just faced off on Saturday, and Seattle thoroughly dominated this match, winning 3-1. It seemed like the Whitecaps almost didn't even really show up to this one. The first half, the scoreline was 0-0. It looked a lot closer than it was. Seattle had three missed opportunities in this game. So it could have been a much scarier scoreline than a 3-1 scoreline suggests. Eddie, what did you like about this game?
Well, it was just typical Sounders soccer, it seemed like, for how this season's been going. Um, as much as it was what I liked about what the Sounders did, I was equally as disappointed as how Vancouver came out in this match. It did remain scoreless for a little while, but Joao Paulo was able to get Seattle on the board in the what is it, 46 minute,
Right
and
after halftime.
yeah, right after halftime, and it was just a tale of two halves. First half, pretty even. Second half, Sounders just took over.
I think pretty even is being kind of generous. Look at the possession totals. I mean, 70-30, pretty much the whole game. Uh, Vancouver got three shots the whole game. I don't think Vancouver, yet they had one good opportunity that was saved by Fry. I will give them that. One of their three opportunities was actually a decent opportunity. But other than that, Vancouver was pretty uneventful, pretty listless most of the match.
Well, when I say it was a pretty even match in that first half, you got to know how the two teams are playing. Seattle's playing at home. They're trying to attack. They're trying to score goals. Vancouver, they're on the road, and um, they're on the road for the rest of the season, obviously. And I know that Portland's their home, but it's still on the road. Um, and so they're going to play a little bit more conservative, I feel, especially with the number one team in the league or in the West, and try to just counter, which I felt like they tried to do, but it just didn't work out in the end.
Yeah, they didn't produce chances. I mean, they only got 10 set pieces off of fouls. They got zero corners. So even if you're trying to win counter-attacking soccer, or trying to win off of a set piece because you're on the road, you got to produce set pieces. And they didn't produce anything except for their PK goal, which we'll discuss in just a moment. Before that, I want to mention that Lucas Cavallini did get a yellow card in this one. That has huge implications for their game against San Jose, which we will talk more about when we preview that. Let's get to this PK, Eddie. How frustrated are you with the ref on this one?
Listen, as just a fan of Cascadia, fan of both of these clubs, it was still frustrating to me. I mean, you were watching the Vancouver broadcast. I was watching the Seattle broadcast. Both sides, because from what you said in your text messages to me, were saying that that was not a penalty, and it clearly was not a penalty. Um, First, the ref calls it a red against Gomez inside the box, and then after reviewing, it's clear that he was actually pushed by Cavallini, and maybe their feet got tangled up when he got pushed away. But when you get pushed away and you clip them, that's not a penalty.
Yeah, it,
Um,
it was it was a terrible call. The Vancouver broadcast agreed. They actually, one of the two announcers was adamantly saying that it was a foul on Cavallini, that Cavallini went through the back of Yamir Andrade. So if you have your own commentators saying that in real time, I'm not gonna lie, when I watched it in real time, it looked like the ref had made the right call. Like if you watched it in fast motion, it looked like Cavallini had better positioning. When you watch it in slow motion, you see that he's a half step behind, and that's when you realize that it was actually Cavallini that fouled him. So I understand the initial call by the ref. I think going to a red card was a little hasty, uh, because even if it was a foul on Ymir, it would have just been a coming together of bodies. It was not intentional. Maybe they were saying denial of an obvious scoring opportunity. It's really hard to tell when he didn't have the ball. The ref taking back the red was the right thing, and thank goodness they did, because that could have changed the result of this game. But the fact that the Sounders didn't get this clean sheet and they lost a goal, and I think this is the second or even third time the Sounders have lost a PK this year due to just poor refing. And these goals could end up being a big difference in the supporter shield standings at the end, because there's less games played. The standings are so tight, they're so close, that a goal here, a goal there could make a difference. That being said, the Sounders goal differential is highest in the league by a mile right now, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah. It's still frustrating that it was a PK as well, though, because I truly felt if it was going to be a foul, it was outside the box. Um, but it is what it is. Montero ends up scoring the goal. Um, that wasn't the end with the red cards, though.
No, the Vancouver did end up getting a red card um, after that. Just a second yellow card for. Hold on, let me pull up the box so I say this name right. I don't.
It wasn't. I don't think it wasn't second yellow card. It was straight red.
Oh, it was straight red. The player. I'm gonna try to pronounce his name. See if you correct me. Bikel.
That that's kind of what I was what I was thinking. I feel
Bikel.
really bad for not knowing our own players' names.
Well, I don't think the announcers did it justice either. I would love to like actually hear him say it. But
Yeah.
Bikel had a yellow in the 26th minute, and then I thought it was a second yellow in the 68th. It does show on the book that it was a straight red. So once that happened, once they went down to uh, 10 men, the score line was already 3-1. So it was already well out of reach for Vancouver. It just gave up any last hope they had of making a possible comeback.
Did you think that was that foul was justifiable for a straight red though? I felt like the ref was very quick to start pulling out reds on people.
That's why I said it was a second yellow, because until just now I thought it was a second yellow. So I don't know. MLS stat sheet does have it as a straight red.
No,
So
he straight up pulled the red. He never pulled out a yellow
mhm.
during the match. So it was a straight red.
So
Well,
well, either way, Sounders thoroughly dominated this one, 3-1, as Vegas odds had projected. My super bold prediction that the Whitecaps were going to pull something crazy out of a hat came totally wrong. You are a genius, Eddie. You got this prediction totally right.
yeah, they made me look good.
Yes, they did. Well, let's see if you can predict this next game. We're going to stay in Seattle. On Wednesday, October 7th, the Sounders host Real Salt Lake. The two teams met back in September on the 2nd. They played to a 2-2 draw that night. This is an RSL side that was punching really hard back at teams for the first couple weeks of September. They had tied Portland 4-4 at home, then tied Seattle or in Portland. Sorry, they tied 4-4 in Portland, tied Seattle 2-2. They were looking like a team that was rounding the corner. Then they go on a little rough streak. They've lost 3 of their last 4 matches. They just lost to LAFC. What do you think? Sounders playing really well right now. How do they match up in this one?
Seattle is playing well. They are playing at home, and I see this going well for the Sounders. I can see a victory coming out of this one. RSL currently holds the final playoff spot in the West by just a single point over San Jose. Um, Vancouver is definitely going to become Seattle fans this week, as they are 3 points behind RSL for that last spot, and they're going to be definitely trying to get a victory to get back up into the playoff race. Um, I don't think it's going to be as close as that 2-2 scoreline was down in RSL. I expect Seattle to put this one away by at least 2 goals.
Yeah, the Sounders are playing much better now than they were back in September. I think Joao Paulo is getting his feet underneath him with this team, and he is looking really, really good. Like some people are saying he could be newcomer of the league good this year. So if the Brazilian keeps playing that well, this Sounders team could be facing Toronto in the MLS Cup final. And I'm not going to make that prediction quite yet, but that's the way it's trending.
I think you just did.
Not yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer because Columbus looks good out east as well. It sucks that we don't get to talk about any of these east teams because we
Yeah.
don't get to play any of them. But I'm keeping my eye on it because I know it someday we will have to talk about those teams. So we'll be ready for those shows when they come. If you're talking about RSL, you're talking about Damir Krylek, you're talking about Justin Miram. Those are the two leading scorers on that team. It seems to be a team that scores in bunches, a team that doesn't really defend too well. I've noticed that they ship goals. They shipped 3 against LAFC. For that reason, I don't see them going to Seattle and pulling out a victory in this one, especially without Nick Raimondo in goal for them.
It's amazing how much just a single goalkeeper can really affect your team, being near or being right in the mix of the playoffs to barely being in the playoffs. They've been blasted in a few matches, and I think with the Sounders at home, it's going to happen again. Another thing to factor in is the Sounders have been shoring up their defense with the additions of Brad Smith and now Roman Torres, adding more depth, and that's I think going to be a key factor in the Sounders moving on.
And I think Arriaga's starting to find his feet again. I noticed he made some great plays. He cut off some passes. He has great control of the ball most of the time. Just in Orlando, I don't know what happened, uh, but he's getting his feet back underneath him. This Sounders team is very, very scary. I've got them winning this one 2-0. I think they're going to really push for a shutout. They haven't gotten a shutout in a few games. I think they're going to push for a shutout in this one.
I'm going to go 1 goal more than you. I'm going to say 3-0 in this one.
Oh, you're going big.
I kind of wanted to go 4, but I'm being a little conservative.
All right. So for those of you who want to watch, that's Wednesday, October 7th at 7 p.m. Pacific. We do get another game. We actually have 2 more games that day. We're only going to talk about one in this show. The Vancouver Whitecaps are going to head down to San Jose to face the Earthquake. These 2 teams played an incredible game in Orlando. If you saw that game, it was 4-3 San Jose. Vancouver was up big in that game and should have held on to the lead, but didn't. San Jose ended up coming back and winning that. Rightfully so. San Jose was the better team that night. Vancouver finished their 2 or 3 chances that they got. The teams are vastly different than back in July. The last time they faced July 15th. There was no Montero in Orlando. There was no Cavallini, although there's no Cavallini in this one as well. And San Jose Earthquakes had a DP in the midfield they have since shipped to Sweden. So 2 very different teams. Does Vancouver stand a chance in this one, Eddie?
Oh, of course. I mean, you're looking at 2 teams that are fighting to get into the playoffs. They're only separated by 2 points. San Jose at 17 points, Vancouver at 15. So definitely Vancouver has a shot in this match when you're facing an opponent that is of equal um, level of you in the standings. It is amazing to me how different these teams are from the MIB tournament, especially San Jose with how dominant they were in the MIB tournament, and they just fell off since then. It's going to be an interesting match. I think Vancouver will come out firing. They're going to want to get a point out of this, obviously, and
I
I
don't
think they'll do it.
I don't want to make a prediction in this game. San Jose has been the hardest team to predict. They got crushed by Seattle. They got crushed by Portland. They go down to LAFC last week. People were joking online. How many goals is LAFC going to score? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be 7-9-0, blah, blah, blah. San Jose beat LAFC 2-1 in LAFC. Then, did you see what they did yesterday, Eddie?
No, I
San
missed it.
they beat the Galaxy. They've got back-to-back wins against their two biggest rivals.
Oh, actually, I did see that. Sorry, I did.
So this team that got totally demolished by Seattle and Portland just crushed their two biggest rivals, and now they get Vancouver limping in here without Lucas Cavallini. I am actually leaning more towards San Jose because they're trending way up right now after two big wins. But like I said, this San Jose squad is impossible to predict.
Maybe it's a Cascadia three-peat of just dominant performances against San Jose, and Vancouver will put 5 or 8.
You think that'll happen?
Not
I don't
8,
know.
not
I think
8.
San Jose might be turning a corner. Their recent games against the other two teams down in LA give me that. There's no high scoring players in this game. You got Montero with 3, and then Wondolowski on the other side with 2, Rios on the other side with 2. You got no real high scorers in this one, so it's going to be a team affair on both sides. What's your final score line for this one, Eddie?
I think this one's gonna be close. Oh,
You were just joking 5-0.
that's what I would love to see. um, I think it. I think Vancouver's gonna come away with a point in this one. I'm gonna say scoreline's gonna be 2-2.
2-2. I want to give Vancouver a point. I really do, but I can't. I can't do it. Not with how they played against Seattle. Not without Cavallini. I'm gonna say 2-1 San Jose Earthquake on this one.
Well, that means you're gonna. Uh, that means Vancouver's gonna win this one.
I'm always wrong with Vancouver, man. I can't get them right.
This has
So
been a weird. This has been a weird season with just all our predictions being just up in the air.
hey, you got the Cascadia matchup last week. I'm gonna give you kudos to that. And I got a comment on the jersey attire today, Eddie. Good call. I'm loving it. I'm loving the jersey. Looks good.
Yeah, I love it. I just need to
So
fit it a little bit better.
hey, man, is that the Cascadia patch on that left sleeve? Oh, right sleeve. There you go. Yeah, looks
That's my
good.
left sleeve.
Oh, it is. Okay. You looked the wrong way. I didn't know if the camera flips you. All right. Well, that's our show for today. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts, comments, feedback. I want to know, is there any Whitecaps fans out there who truly think that this is going to be a 6-0 game or 5-0 game, and see if they want to step up to what Seattle and Portland did? It'd be really interesting to see. That game is 7:30 Wednesday, October 7th. So I'll be channel flipping Sounders, Whitecaps, Timbers. They're all playing at the same time. Dang it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And as always, go Cascadia.